Good afternoon. I'm in a robe. Typically, my Substack is related to Green Means Go Sports, my other channel, which is now more or less a sports betting and sports betting information channel. But I was struggling today with everything as far as creating content goes. And I wrote this article today so that I could be productive in some fashion, and thankfully that productivity has led me to this productivity of making a video for my Red Means No channel. I have been reading my Substack articles on Green Means Go, and I've enjoyed doing that. So for those of you who don't want to read this, or maybe wouldn't have seen this because it's more catered to my gambling sports algorithm, here we go. So this is called perfectionism, or whatever you want to call it. And I wrote this today after being very not productive. I have not been productive today. I've started 4 or 5 things, but eventually lose interest, become distracted, or think of a reason why it is not worth my time. I don't know what that's called, but I am interested in figuring out why I do it. Every Substack to date has been about gambling. This one may not be. I decided my time would be best spent journaling here today, a little psychoanalyzing of thyself, but even that didn't start well. I've hammered backspace 100 times in the last 6 minutes, waiting for the perfect start that will grab your attention and keep you here, because if I can do that, my content grows. If I can provide value, content grows. I get paid within the confines of the attention economy, and that is hard on me. This is not unique to Substack. YouTube, TikTok, Twitter all require the same thing. Appeal to the audience, appeal to the algorithm. And as you can imagine, this conditions me, the creator, to think less about the art form itself and more about the public's reception to the art form. And this is why I've started 4 or 5 things today, yet accomplished nothing. I've always loved to create. So this job is a dream come true, except you don't make money on the art alone, but the reception to the art. I've had videos go viral that took 4 minutes of effort. I've had videos take 4 days of effort, loved every minute of the creating journey, and only got 214 views. Maybe this is about gambling. It's a joke because, time spent one way. I've never considered myself a perfectionist. I can't stand failing. I can't stand losing. But I always thought perfectionism meant things had to be perfect, superior, pristine, clean, ordered. I never considered perfectionism to be the avoidance of failure. Because who wants to fail? Wouldn't everyone just be a perfectionist? One of the most influential people, I'm going to try that again. One of the most influential people in my life was my educational psychology professor in college. I've been fortunate enough to keep in contact with her well past graduation, and I had her for 4 years, and I spent many, many office hours discussing education, life, and mostly panicking about my future. She was my role model and often my hope in a pretty hopeless time. I say hopeless because when you're a senior in college and you're about to enter the real world and your degree is going to be in education and you don't want to be a teacher, it feels pretty hopeless. And if you chose to do something else, you'd be throwing away 4 years of work. We still keep in contact, and last year she mentioned me being a perfectionist. I explained to her that in no way was I a perfectionist. I don't care if things are perfect. I just don't want them to be wrong. I don't want to fail or look like a failure. I may hyperfixate on minute details so people won't judge me for making errors, but that's not perfectionism. She laughed. Again, like I said at the beginning, I don't know what you call it, but maybe it's tangentially related to perfectionism. And if I really get down to it, this is what it is. I'm going to give you the details. I'm going to give you I'm going to raw dog you right now. Here it is. If I zoom out, I am the happiest I've ever been. I have complete creative freedom. I answer to no one. I set my own schedule. I get to wake up and live the life I want to live. I don't have to play the game of corporate America. I don't have to deal with workplace bureaucracy. I can wear sweats and maybe even a robe every single day. I go at my own pace. I can pursue my passions without being micromanaged. Being a content creator is the best thing, career-wise, job-wise, that has ever happened to me. These are the positives that I don't want to lose. But in order for those things to remain true, in order to not lose them, I have to make money. So in order to live this dream life, I have to play the game of the algorithm. I have to get clicks. I have to sustain attention. I don't want to lose this job. I don't want to fail. I don't want to return to the rat race 9 to 5. And here's the thing. I am making money doing this. I have been able to support my family doing this, but I understand these things come and go. Contracts are month to month. The algorithms change constantly. TikTok's sailed Oracle has pretty much killed my revenue on there, at least in the short term. I don't know if it will be that way forever. I hope not, but I don't know. This is where the push and pull of perfectionism may exist for me, the analysis paralysis, if you will. And then I knew there was an image I wanted for analysis paralysis, and it was this one. And we'll look at the other one in a second. But this is really, when I think about how I often attack content, this is how it goes in my brain. A new decision to make. Okay, what am I going to make? Freeze. Before I start, I stop and I analyze all the choices. And this is what I was doing today. I have these notebooks that have all of my different channels and things I could do. And they have ideas. And I looked at all these ideas and I came up with, I can't do any of them. Why? Because I analyze the choices, then I overthink everything. Mostly I think about how these videos will not be received well. Well, that one's not going to work because, I don't want to do that because it's going to take more time and it's going to get 100 views and then it's going to be a waste of time. That's how it goes. I finally come to a decision and then I have an uncertainty and second guessing and then it starts all over again. This is one that says 5 lesser known factors that cause analysis paralysis. Perfectionism, which I may or may not have. People pleasing, definitely have. Limiting beliefs, definitely have. Fear of failure, yeah, probably. Anxiety, yes, definitely have. So I found those images. And these images are my everyday battle. Which, if you think about someone creating content and having to start at the base and then make decisions that arrive at a certain spot, it's probably not the best combination for someone creating content. But like I said, I enjoy it, which is maybe the paradox of it all. I suppose it all comes back to money. My fear of failure is really just a fear of having to leave content creation behind. It's not really a fear of failing content in and of itself. If I failed at this, we'll call this being a content creator. If I just failed at that, it wouldn't bother me as much as the losing out on this lifestyle, if that makes any sense. But more of a fear of having to live a miserable life. I exaggerate, but as you can probably tell, I'm fairly sensitive to anxiety and stress, so the hustle and bustle of a real job isn't my cup of Coke Zero. I stopped drinking tea. So at this point of typing, I stopped, and then I was going to go reread this, and I was like, let me come up with a title now. Which what does that make? Why would I stop and just come up with a title right here I don't know, but I went up to the title and I typed in perfectionism, and then I Googled perfectionism because I was trying to find a picture that went with it. And then I found this. And it was this side by side, this image, and I should have included it in here, but it wasn't the best image, but the idea within the image was amazing. It was like a white character, like a men's bathroom sign character, and then a red one. And it said perfectionist striving or something like that, perfectionism striving, and it talked about what I thought perfectionism was, trying to be perfect, no stone unturned, excelling. And then it was perfectionistic concerned, and it was doesn't want to make mistakes, anxious, self-loathing, doesn't want to fail, and it was that's it, chat, we found it, I'm the red bathroom guy. Perfectionist concerns are the anxious, self-critical side of perfectionism, involving intense worry about making mistakes, a fear of negative judgment, nagging self-doubt, feeling inadequate, and experiencing strong negative emotions like shame, guilt, or stress. Reporting for duty. And I was like, oh yeah, that's exactly it. When failing to meet impossibly high standards, often leading to procrastination, I started 4 or 5 things today and got nothing done. Unhappiness, I don't really feel unhappy. And links to anxiety, depression, and OCD. Key characteristics: fear of failure, intense aversion to mistakes, self-criticism, harshly judging yourself and focusing on your flaws, and belief that you're not good enough, doubt and worry, constant rumination about performance and action, questioning if they are good enough, external pressure, feeling immense pressures from perceived societal expectations or worrying about others' criticism, discrepancy, a perceived gap between personal standards and actual performance, feeling dissatisfaction, negative reaction, experiencing a significant distress, anxiety, or even depression from perceived failures. And it was check. Yeah, that about sums it up and likely explains starting 4 or 5 things today and finishing 0. Actually, I think I finished 1 thing today. And sometimes that's the best we can do. And so on this journey, I have to remember that I am doing this in some ways for myself and hoping that if I continue to pursue the art and things that are rewarding and things that I want to do, eventually that hard work and repetitive, relentless persistence, that's kind of like three synonyms, I guess, will pay off monetarily. I have to just believe that. Which feels like, in a way, sort of, it goes against what I know to be true about myself, or what I think is true about myself, right? It's just a hard construct to like go back and forth with. But at the same time, I love the puzzle. I love trying to do it, and some days are easier than others. So, I appreciate you all. What few of you are here. There's probably going to be 30 of you that watch this, and each and every one of you means something to me. And I'm thankful that you would take the time to sit for 11 minutes and listen to me talk about this journey. So if you don't mind, you can subscribe, you can like, and you can kiss somebody on the lips today. It costs $0. See you sometime later.